We're approaching the home stretch of the program now. Just let me show you what the federal government is reacting to this one. Not exactly the details of what the owners of the money or the owners of the building or perhaps the tenant of where those monies are being found. The federal government has said as the looters continue to run helter-skelter, many of them are even abandoning their booty at unusual places, including airports. We want to assure Nigerians that we will not abandon this policy. And they went further to say that that instead we will continue to rejig it to make it more effective as a tool for fighting corruption. That's a statement from the Minister of Information talking about the whistleblower policy. But as we bring the issues to conclusion now, let me begin with you. Our final interventions on this matter. The whistleblower policy, you did say that it's a good idea, but perhaps the operations of the EFCC may be faulty and the manner in which they have communicated on this one. As a concluding statement on this one, going forward, and in what you have seen so far, do you see any politics in all of this?
See, I mean, you know, it acts back to the general background of in Nigeria and most of Africa and third world. You have very beautiful policies, perfect policies. It is when you get to the implementation that it gets into problem. That is, this situation, for instance, is contrived confusion. If you have the best of policy, if the people that are meant to implement it choose for whatever reasons not to do so, it will not work. There's nothing wrong with it. This policy, as far as I can see, has done what it is expected to do. But the policy will not remove itself from the paper and perform the work of EFCC or EFCC operatives. It will take individuals and organizations and institutions to put that policy into effect. If they feel themselves constrained or disabled for one reason or the other, then that is where the problem is.
Mr. Oyalo, your concluding statements on this one. You have said that perhaps the past administration may have a hand in this money. But going forward, this present government has said it's working and people are abandoning the implications and all of that. Is this political in what sense, in what you have seen?
Well, I don't know what you mean by this political, but if you look at a stash of money, yes, it was tampered with, they didn't use glove, I understand that, but if you notice, those monies were stacked, clean notes. There are serial numbers. These things can easily be investigated. Those things were neatly packed. You can't get such money on the street. I worked in the bank for 14 years. I know when they bring money from CBN, I know how it looks like. These monies were not money that were picked from the street. Neatly packed. And in nylons, in mint notes. All of them were pure mint note, not touched.
It's really difficult to trace.
So it is the easiest money to find. It's so easy to trace.
What about the owners of the building?
The serial number is there. I mean, somebody said he owns the house, that he has sold it through agency or agent. It's simple. Just track the agent. Who did you sell these things to? These things are recorded. If it's
a the government failed in this regard,
that's why the communication is the challenge. He has said it, and I agree to that.
We as journalists even have
some of this, but that's why we also have problem with journalists. What is an investigative journalist when you cannot find out these things? Investigative journalism should have been able to.
When the journalists have, but the government has refused to come with an official statement on some of these issues.
For me, I think the communication has a lot of challenge.
Okay.
These things are easy to trace. The monies are easy to trace. The houses, I mean, the homes where these monies are found, the one in Ikoyi, easy to trace. Let the government come out with a statement categorically. This is the owner of the house. Okay. Then we begin to take it up from there.
All right. Just in 1 minute, we need to close, Mr. Ubo. As it stands now, going forward, do you trust the agencies of government, or do you think overtly they need to rejig their strategy in making this whistleblower work? In 1 minute, your intervention, please.
No, not the way it is. Again, you can't make an omelette without breaking at least one egg. We don't have the robust agency to drive this. Everything is done in piecemeal. And I want to say, as the foremost whistleblower in Nigeria who has suffered immense adverse treatment, any whistleblower that gives information that leads to seizure, forfeiture, or recovery, and that person is not rewarded or protected, it's like somebody being raped. So that is my main thing here. This is I applaud the government for embracing it, but we need to get the proper legal framework right. We need to have a separate agency driving this,
so
that whistleblowers will have that confidence to come out.
Okay.
I mean,
on that note,
there is no other way to do it. I'm sorry.
We must
so that is my main concern. Thank you very much.
I'm afraid we're out of time. George Ubo, Chairman George Ubo, a whistleblower network, a private investigator and a whistleblower who does that professionally. Mr. Akin Oshitogun, a former presidential advisor, and Mr. Yalawa, a former banker, social commentator, and a member of the APC. Many thanks, gentlemen, for being part of the program, gentlemen. And that's our show for tonight. Many thanks for being part of it. On behalf of the team, I'm Sean Wakimbale. Bye for now.